Michigan Congresswoman and Chairwoman of the House Republican Conference, Lisa McClain. She also serves on the committees involving financial services and education and workforce. Congresswoman, you're a busy lady. What can you tell us, first of all, about this plan to enact these so-called Doge Cuts?
Well, we're waiting for the rescission package from the White House. Then when we get that, we are eager and ready to go and put it on the floor to begin to codify the legislation or the executive orders that the president had signed into law. So.
And just for our audience members who may not know, rescission means taking back federal spending that has already been allocated.
Correct.
So speaking of Doge and some of these cuts that you all are eager to make happen, Elon Musk has said that he is disappointed with the bill that's passed in the House because he says, it would add to the deficit and undermine Doge's work. As you know, the Congressional Budget Office puts that estimate at $3.8 trillion. Speaker Johnson, for his part, has cast doubt on that. Can you say for certain this bill will not add to the deficit?
What I can say for certain is we need to do better with the American taxpayers' dollars. And it's the bottom line that counts, provided you know how to count. So when the CBO score comes in, it doesn't count, for example, the amount of people that are going to get back into the workforces. So if you have more people working, you have more people paying taxes, which is what we saw in 2017 when the revenue numbers from the IRS actually went up. Those numbers aren't counted in that CBO score. So I'm actually excited. Do I wish it went and saved more money? Yes, I do. But we have to take what we can get right now. And that's exactly what we're doing. My hope is all of these little wins that we get add up to big savings for the American taxpayer.
But I just want to note the CBO is not alone. I mean, you have both right and left-leaning organizations that have come to this conclusion about adding to the deficit. The Tax Foundation, the Manhattan Institute, the Penn Wharton Budget Model, and the Center for American Progress. Are they all wrong about adding trillions to the deficit?
I don't think they're wrong. I just think, like I said earlier, it's the bottom line that counts, provided you know how to count. And you got to take all factors into consideration, which they don't. The other thing I might add is if we didn't pass this one big beautiful bill, the average Michigander would see their taxes increase by $2,400 a year. 700,000 just Michigan small businesses would see their tax rates increase to 43%, and over 1 million Michigan families would see their child tax credits get cut in half. We can't have an increase on the American taxpayer right now.
And indeed, some of your colleagues in the Senate, including Republicans, are expressing a lot of concern over the potential deficit. Here's what Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky said yesterday. Listen to this.
What the agreement is on the rest of the bill, and it doesn't have to be perfect to my liking, but I can't be. If I vote for the $5 trillion debt, who's left in Washington that cares about the debt? We will have lost. But the GOP will own the debt once they vote for this.
Can this bill pass the Senate?
I think it can, and I'm hopeful that it will. Listen, I would not want to be the person that stood in the way of President Trump's agenda. And I think you're going to see a lot of bickering and family squabbles behind the scenes play out, no different than you saw in the House. But at the end of the day, I think the Senate is going to pass the bill.
I want to ask you about this new CNN poll that shows while your party still holds an advantage when it comes to the economy, public trust on that issue appears to be on decline. Should that be a warning sign of how the president's agenda could impact your party heading into the midterm elections, particularly with all the uncertainty around the tariffs?
Yeah, listen, the midterm elections are extremely important, and especially in my state of Michigan, the economy is what people, what people care a whole lot about. And what President Trump is trying to do is level the playing field. So I think we still have a window of opportunity to do that. And I think if you look at all the investments that are coming back, I think over time you will begin to get that certainty that the American people are looking for.
When you talk to your constituents in Michigan, I mean, do they feel like they're delivering, that he's delivering on his campaign promise? Is there any uneasiness, concern? Tell me.
Absolutely. And the people in my community see it from the lens of job creation. Look, Michigan ranks number 3 behind California in New York in terms of manufacturing jobs lost. That's not a good sign. So he sees, my constituents see the tariffs as a positive thing, view it through a positive lens in the terms of job creations and bringing more jobs back to our state.
President Trump, as you know, Congresswoman, is warning that there could be very dire economic ramifications for the country if the courts strike down his proposed tariffs. As you know, a lot of economists, though, have a different point of view. They say that these Trump tariffs could actually wind up harming the U.S. economy. Do you share those concerns?
I don't. I side with the president on this. The tariffs are a tool in the tool belt to level the playing field for Americans and American businesses. That's what we need to do. For far too long, we've been taking advantage of. So I think it's kind of like working out, right? When you first start working out, you're a little sore and your muscles hurt a little bit, but the long-term health from working out is going to be beneficial. And that's exactly what the tariffs are doing, is we are going to have some short-term discomfort to reset and re-level the playing field. And that's what we're doing right now, is resetting that playing field.
Just going back to the bill, as you know, and I imagine you've heard from some constituents, there is concern about what the changes to Medicaid will mean for people, right? And there was a town hall from Senator Republican Joni Ernst where some of that concern was expressed. She received some criticism as well after that town hall for her comments, and then her ensuing apology. I want to play some of that.
People are not, well, we all are going to die.
I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well.
What did you think about a sitting U.S. Senator responding that way to her constituents' concerns?
Listen, I think she was trying to do a play on words, actually. Listen, the fear-mongering has got to stop, right? We are not cutting Medicaid. We're actually trying to shore Medicaid up so it's there for the people that need it most. But these town halls have gotten a little bit out of hand with the fear-mongering and just, quite frankly, the flat-out lies. Let's have an open and honest...
constituents. I mean, these
I'm
are
with you on
real
the
Americans who are expressing concern.
Well, there's a right way and a wrong way to express the concern. Do it in a respectful fashion, and let's have a conversation, right? Disagreement isn't disloyalty. We can actually have an adult conversation to alleviate some of those fears that the American people have. And that's our job, is to alleviate those fears. And that's what I think the town halls should be designed to do, is to have honest conversation and alleviate fears, not to, scream and holler. Let's have an honest conversation.
Congresswoman Lisa McClain, thanks as usual for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.